Imagine walking outside, pushing a simple metal rod into the dirt, and instantly powering your entire house for free. No monthly bills, no massive power grids, and no reliance on global corporations. It sounds like a utopian science fiction novel, but over a century ago, this was not a fantasy. It was a physical, towering reality under construction just outside of New York City. The structure was called Wardenclyffe Tower, and it was the ultimate masterpiece of Nikola Tesla. This colossal machine was not designed to simply transmit radio signals, as the public was told. It was secretly engineered to transform the entire Earth into a limitless, wireless electrical generator. If Tesla had succeeded, he would have instantly eradicated global poverty and destroyed every single energy monopoly on the planet overnight. Therefore, the most powerful men in the world had to ensure this tower never became fully operational. But the true story is not just about a demolished building. It is a chilling psychological thriller about what happens when pure scientific altruism collides with the terrifying realization that true freedom is the one thing the global economy can never allow. To comprehend the magnitude of this lost future, you must understand the psychological obsession of Nikola Tesla. He was not a traditional businessman driven by profit. He was an obsessive visionary who perceived the universe entirely through the lens of frequencies and vibrations. Because of this unique mindset, he noticed a fundamental phenomenon that modern engineers often ignore. The Earth itself is a giant electrical capacitor, constantly humming with its own immense natural charge. Tesla realized that humanity did not need to artificially generate electricity from scratch and force it through thousands of miles of expensive copper wires. Instead, he believed he could simply tap into the planet's inherent resonance. He designed Wardenclyffe Tower to act as a colossal tuning fork. Its purpose was to pump massive electrical vibrations deep into the subterranean crust, essentially turning the ground beneath our feet into a global electrical ocean. Anyone in the world could simply stick a receiver into the earth and pull free energy directly from the dirt. But to construct a machine of this unprecedented scale, Tesla needed an astronomical amount of funding. Therefore, he made the most fatal miscalculation of his life by asking J.P. Morgan for the money. J.P. Morgan was the undisputed titan of global finance. He practically owned the emerging American infrastructure. He controlled the copper mines, the lumber yards, and the thousands of miles of physical wires that were slowly beginning to electrify the nation. Therefore, when Tesla first approached this ruthless monopolist, Tesla had to lie. He pitched the Wardenclyffe project merely as a highly advanced radio communication tower, promising it would easily outcompete his rival, Guglielmo Marconi. Tesla knew perfectly well that if Morgan understood the true, revolutionary purpose of the tower, which was free global energy, the banker would never give him a single dime. Blinded by the promise of dominating global communications, Morgan gave Tesla the equivalent of millions of modern dollars. But Tesla's brilliant deception was a ticking time bomb. As the tower grew to massive proportions, plunging deep iron roots hundreds of feet into the earth to grip the planet's crust, the budget spiraled completely out of control. Before Tesla could finish his masterpiece, Marconi successfully transmitted the first transatlantic radio signal using incredibly cheap, simple equipment. Furious, Morgan demanded to know why Tesla's gigantic project was taking so immensely long and consuming so much capital. Cornered by his furious investor, Tesla finally decided to reveal his ultimate, world-changing secret. He confessed to Morgan that the massive structure at Wardenclyffe was never intended just for sending radio messages. It was actually the first node in a global wireless power transmission system. Tesla proudly explained that once the tower was fully activated, absolutely every human being on Earth could receive unlimited, free electricity straight from the ground, without a single physical wire. Tesla genuinely expected the billionaire to be deeply moved by this monumental gift to human civilization. But Tesla fundamentally misunderstood the dark psychology of a monopolist. Morgan did not look at the tower and see a beautiful scientific miracle. Instead, he looked at it and saw his entire financial empire crumbling into worthless ashes. If energy was entirely free and wireless, absolutely nobody would ever need to purchase Morgan's expensive copper wire. Nobody would ever pay a monthly electric bill again. Morgan famously replied with a chilling, purely capitalist question that immediately sealed the fate of the modern world. He looked at Tesla and asked, quote, zero. That single, ruthless question instantly assassinated the dream of a free and equal world. Morgan did not just completely withdraw all of his financial support. He actively and aggressively blacklisted Nikola Tesla across all of Wall Street. Because of Morgan's terrifying influence, absolutely no other investor dared to touch the project or associate with the inventor. The magnificent Wardenclyffe Tower was immediately abandoned. It was left to rot in the weather for years, and eventually it was blown up with dynamite and sold for scrap metal just to pay off Tesla's mounting hotel debts. But the tragic destruction of this tower was not just the sad end to a brilliant inventor's life. It established a dark, permanent precedent that completely dictates our global reality today. We do not rely on toxic fossil fuels and incredibly fragile, expensive power grids because they are the best available technologies. We are forced to use them because they are the absolute easiest things to measure, heavily restrict, and sell for profit. Tesla definitively proved that the universe offers mankind boundless energy. But his ruined tower stands as a haunting reminder that the greatest barrier to human evolution is simply the meter.